Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chum channel. Today we're going to take a look at the Saberforge Juggernaut. It's a warrior tier edition. I draw this out of the mystery grab bags from Saberforge, so we're going to take a look at it. And yes, the format of the video is a little bit different. Going forward, I am forced to make videos in this format because I just don't have the time to make that many lightsaber reviews and edit them for hours and hours on end. Because this is a massive time constraint. Plus I need to keep making these videos for you guys because we both enjoy looking at lightsabers. So we're gonna take a look at this Juggernaut, and I have to say I'm very pleasantly surprised by the saber, to be honest. It's a well-crafted hilt. That to said, it's an ASP saber, so there's timing shims between the threaded part, which I show you shortly. They are obvious there, but it's overall a solid hilt. There's some funky stuff going on with this hilt, and I mean with this hilt I mean the configuration of the hilt. Apparently Saberforge just changes the design of the configuration of this particular hilt over time, and I will mention what that is shortly. So first things foremost, we start with the aesthetics of this hilt. So this is a fantastic looking hilt. I really love it. Once I got my hands on it, I was thoroughly impressed by the look of it, the feel and the look of this hilt. The massive cleavers on the top. They have this edge, which is just basically very blunt. It's definitely how to say that, they ground down the sides to make it look like an actual knife. I saw versions where this was silver as well on the edge of the blade. This one doesn't have that, but it's not sharp at all. Like, this is absolutely not sharp. The only sharp points are the edges, which are fairly sharp, to be honest. You can definitely snack yourself onto that, and this here as well. But overall it does feel very solid despite having these massive claws on the side. Both claws are held in place by two retention screws that screws into the main body on both sides. So on the bottom section here, there's nothing here, but it doesn't feel like it has any integrity issues. It feels really solid. And then we're gonna over the rest of the body. Well, I just changed position here. So we have this beautiful emitter with a blade socket. Now in this case we have a Sid Bunny blade plug in there. So let me just take that out really quickly for you. The retention screw is right here. So, and here we go. And that's it. So put the Sid Bunny blade plug onto the side. If you're interested in getting one of those blade plugs, check out their Etsy page. You can see how deep that blade plug is, the blade socket is. Let me just measure that up for you guys so you can see that. So here we go. Do that on screen, of course. So, can we zoom in? So that's about 3 inches deep. About 3 inches deep. So that's definitely quite nice. I like the deeper sockets for sure, because for dueling, the deeper the socket, the better I like it, because it really feels that the blade is much more secure and wobble free inside the hilt. So these cleavers are just, as I said, removable by these screws. So when you remove them, you actually have a very nice hilt without those cleavers as well. So that's optional, of course, but that's a good option. Now, this is the retention screw for the blade, as you just saw. There's no visible retention screw for the LED on this position or here. So I wonder if the LED is glued in, or if the LED is held in place by a different method. That I cannot see. It's definitely in this area, the LED unit. It's not in this thin neck section, because here's the control section already, so it has to be here. I just cannot see how it's held in place. Maybe the retention screw is under one of the sides, hidden underneath this cleaver area. If that's the case, then that is pretty nifty engineering, and I have to give them that. So here you can see the timing shim that is used to align up the the upper emitter section. Unfortunately, it's quite visible, and that's my drawback with my beef with ASP sabers from Saberforge, is that you can always see those shimming rings, and they're quite big and bulky. So I don't really like that about ASP sabers, even if those ASP sabers has been pre-assembled by Saberforge. Then we have the control section. Nice dual tone there. Latching switch, of course, because this is just a stunt setup. Dummy switch for a recharge port or whatnot. It's on a raised control box. So this is the control box. Very sharp edges, by the way. It's not chamfered. So unfortunately, they didn't do that. There is some chamfering on the top, which is weird because that's not where the sharp parts are. The sharp parts are in between here. Yeah, it's a nice low profile control box, and it helps the latching switch to stick out a little bit less. And then we have the leather wrap. I was actually surprised by this leather wrap. Of course, this is fake leather. It's very cheap as vinyl fake leather, but it does looks nice. This is like a crocodile reptile type of leather, and it does suit the saber overall. It's very nice. Silver cover tech wheel, and then we have the pommel. Let me take it off for a moment. We can take a look at that first. So this is supposedly the dreaded pommel that has been casted by from Solo's Hold, and Saberforge just took one of their Starkiller sabers from Solo's Hold, recasted that whole thing, and basically Phil issued said, well, I could do this product much better than you do and charge it for much less than you do, so I'm gonna just recast the whole thing. And this is the famous pommel from that whole ordeal. I got my pommel with some minor damages. As you can see, there's some blemish here. That's how I just received it brand new. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but that's what typical Saberforge. Yeah, there's always some sort of physical damage on your hilt. Overall, not too bad. Not many threads. Typical ASP line. We have the C-Sir clip with defend. The black part is facing towards the inside. You can actually swap it out. If you take out the C clip, you can flip the roster, and then you have a black underneath. I think that looks better actually than the silver. I might do that. And then we have the inside of the hilt. Let me take out the battery holder. In this case, I'm using an 18650 battery, a Trustfire battery. And the reason, oh wow, wow, oh my god, look at the wiring. I didn't see this yet, guys, but the wiring is, wow. The red wire seems to be very short, and the black wire seems to be very, very long. Looks like this has been wired by somebody just joined the wiring team. That's quite bad in terms of how much wires are going inside this hilt. Again, this is really typical Saberforge, guys. There's an unnecessary amount of long wires in here that are just, I don't know what the freak this is. I'm looking at it, trying to understand why there's so much black and red wire required. Oh wait, I can pull it out further. Okay, let me see how far I can take it. So yeah, you can see the inside of the hilt is quite nice and clean. They have a copper heatsink, but yeah, the battery wires are quite long. They did use a that is new, I think. They use a small heat shrink to keep the red and black wire together. That's kind of nice. Typical, just standard Kingston 18650 battery holder. I recommend you buy Trustfire batteries instead of the ones that you get from Saberforge, because those 18650 batteries are slightly bigger than the battery holder, and those basically warp the battery holder outwards, and then you have a chance that at some point the battery holder will break because of the pressure. Now, this is a very nice saber, I have to say. It's a massive saber. Let me just show you how massive it actually is. So I do it from the tip here, from the cleaver, from this tip all the way to the end of the pommel. Let me see, how can I show that best? There we go. So that's wow. I hope you guys can see that, but it's approximately 6. Is that correct? Yeah, that's approximately 16, a little bit over 16 inches long, this hilt. So that's a massive long hilt with the claws, of course. That is really impressive. The hilt itself, so in case you want to take off the claws and you just want to see how long that is around 12 inches long. So that's a substantial shorter hilt. I think without the claws this hilt looks amazing as well. Quite unique, with a long emitter section, a thin neck section, and then a control section. So I want to talk a little bit before we do the weight and comparison with other sabers. I'll talk about the configuration of this hilt. I noticed from the reviews on YouTube and pictures that there's plenty of people that have a slightly different Juggernaut. So some people have the control box flush with the hilt, so the control box is here in line with the hilt itself. Mine is on the side, and I actually like the mine on the side, because the reason for that being, when I go dueling, I will hold the saber like this, right? You're gonna attack your opponent, and then you have your blade in there, and then you can use these cleavers to also hit him. So I like that the control box is here, otherwise my hands will be pinching on the hand palm. And so I do like that fact. I think that was maybe a reason that Saberforge changed it to the side instead of having it on the front. Maybe they received some complaints about that placement. Other things that I noticed as well, some people receive a black cover tech view instead of the silver in this color scheme. I don't know why I got the silver. I rather had the black one to match and blend in more with the grip. That's my personal thing. And some people receive a silver button here, a silver screw instead of a black screw. And some people receive a black latching switch or a V-switch instead of a silver one. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag what they're doing there. It's not that consistent. The pommel is consistent though. It looks very much like the Reliant pommel, which has the small round greeblies that I reviewed earlier. Those greeblies tend to loosen up and you have to glue them back in. This pommel is definitely better in terms of design, hence it being a copy on Soto's hold, but granted that this one is the better pommel. Leather grip feels nice beefy saber. Let me see the circumference of the hilt. Now I've been already pointed out several times about the fact that I mix up OD and circumference, and I'm really sorry for that. My English is not that fantastic, so I just keep it on circumference because for me that's more important than the OD, but then again that's me. So I try to do it as good as possible. Let's say on the side, can I do that? This is of course with a leather grip, so it's a little bit beefier. So I would say it's a 4.5 inches the circumference, which is quite typical for Saberforge. But I like it. It feels really beefy. It's a quite heavy saber as well. And talking about heavy, we're gonna weight her now. So let's put the thing on. Sorry about that. Just had my coffee. Okay, come on. What's this? Why? Okay, so set it to 0. Sorry, I had some technical issue there. 0. Put the saber on there. So, it's 809 grams for a stun setup without a blade plug, and just a stunt configuration, no soundboard installed. So we're talking about nearly 1 kg. I believe this is the heaviest saber that I have reviewed so far, by far. Excuse me. It's a crazy saber. It's definitely a little bit heavier than I would like to see. Some people say in their reviews that the saber doesn't feel top heavy, but it does, because if you hold it here, you can definitely feel the weight in the claws, and it is not more than sensical that it does have a lot of weight here. But when you put in a 20, let's say you put in a 37-inch blade, because of the size of the hilt, you want to have a long blade. I would say if you put a 37-inch blade in there, it does feel very nice. Balance it out in the middle section. This hilt is by no means meant for spinning, because it's a meat grinder. If you put your hand in between here and start spinning this thing, you will end up in a bloody mess. But this hilt is like it's really nice actually. It really feels like it has been wielded by Darth Malgus himself, and Darth Malgus being a very big bulky guy, and he is maybe of an alien race that is slightly bigger than the human race. And then when I pick it up as a human being, I think this thing is super big. It's a heavy, oversized. It is just fitting for the type of personality that Darth Malgus was, and that's why when I picked this saber up initially, I had no binding with it at all. It was not even on my radar to pick it up, because it's so ridiculous oversized and all over the place. But now I own it, I really enjoy it, and just for the fact that it's not a conventional lightsaber, and that is something that really drawn to me. It has these massive side claws that are just something very unique and different than I've seen before, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really like the saber. I really thought I would never say that, but it does really appeal to me a lot. So let me just grab two more sabers for a size comparison. Okay, we're gonna dwarf the Vader's Vault Revan here. To put things in perspective, we also put a very large Saberforge Exalted. So this is a good comparison of the size for you guys. You can see the Vader's Vault clearly being much thinner and smaller and much more compact than the Juggernaut by miles. And then we of course have the Saberforge Exalted, which is slightly longer than the middle section. Of course, it doesn't have the massive cleavers on the side, so it isn't that massive. Put them to the side for a moment. So overall, I'm really pleased with this hilt. It's a really nice looking hilt. The design is quite nice. I like, for example, the fact that the emitter has this lip here that is anodized, and then these shine through emitter windows, holes. It has different powder coating elements. So it have a powder coating element here, then we have another powder coating element here with an this is phrased out, so this is milled out, the silver part here. Same for the other side. I think this is a really cool part of the design. Nice choking point minus the control box. About the control box, you could actually remove this small control box, cut the wires of the latching switch, and then place back the latching switch flush onto this body section. I've seen other people doing it, so it is possible. And then you have a flush hilt design without the control box. The control box, personally, I don't like it. There's nothing to it. It's basically a small block of alloy with a screw in there, and a switch and a dummy switch. It doesn't look anything like from this lightsaber. It looks very messy and kibbly. Like, it looks very ugly, to be honest, the way how it looks. Like, this should make it like a control box section or something, or nice a clamp card type of shell there or something. But it is what it is. That is also something I noticed with some other reviews of other sabers, of other Juggernauts, is some people have a bigger box, some people have a shorter box. Kind of interesting that Saberforge just give you what they want to give you at that point of time. The pommel feels also a little bit bigger than the rest of the body. Like, it sticks out a little bit too much because it cuts off abruptly here, so it's very squared off. So it feels like it doesn't really like the pommel doesn't fit on there, like the pommel wasn't meant to go with this hilt, if you know what I mean. It's also not lined up properly. So actually nothing is lined up properly. That's one thing I also don't like about ASP systems, is that despite Saberforge doing the lining up, it doesn't line up properly. So this line here, this is straight and this is slightly off-centered as well. So the control box isn't fully aligned. You see that? So the control box is already not fully aligned with the claws, and then this pommel is not aligned with any of this, and it is aesthetically a little bit messy to look at from a logical point of view. But overall, it's a really nice saber. It feels nice in the hands. With nearly 1 kg, you do have a blunt weapon in your hand. You can use it as it is, as a weapon, or put a blade in there and have fun. I think it's a really cool display piece for me. It's just crazy. It's all over the top, and I love it. I hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for more videos. We have weekly custom saber unboxing videos or full reviews, so stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, and stay coming, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.